I want to talk about elf bars because the first time I ever saw an elf bar, I was like, why is everyone so hyped up about a protein bar? And that was really my first reaction. I was like, it's just a protein bar, like what's happening? And then I realized that it was a vape. And I was like, what? What do you mean it's a vape? And why is it called an elf bar? A term that is very accessible to anyone. Like if I type in bar, it's gonna come up. And so I started doing my research really because I started seeing it pop up in a lot of my friendship circles. Like I would see just like the logo and I'll be like, it's you again. Why does everyone have you? And it really got to a point where like I know at least like if I'm in my friend group, there's at least one person or more at a time who has it or who is like you want. And I've been realizing too, like around me, like I'm seeing it a lot more. And I wanted to create a video as like a it's okay asterisk because I feel like a lot of content around like vapes is very shamey, and a lot of people that speak about being dependent on it are shamed by other people because it's like, oh, how can you be dependent on this tiny thing? And they don't realize how um even like just globally so much is going on. I can't imagine how much is going on interpersonally, and so sometimes like you need a little bit more support. And so like given how acceptable these are and how accessible they are, it's easy to just like reach for it. And you have to start reevaluating when it's it becomes that you can't go anywhere without it. You can't, you are unable to function, you're unable to do certain things. That's when you begin to reevaluate. Like you cannot live life as you did without it before. That's when you begin to reevaluate. Like if you look at things, a lot of things like that, then it becomes easier to see that all of us are dependent on something. Me, my dependence is my phone. And I'm sure like a lot of people are dependent on their phone because I used to be very productive and I used to be able to do like certain things without like checking, but now I find myself checking and I can't imagine like if how much harder it is when there is an added substance that makes your brain go calm, especially when you have anxiety and also just like other um issues happening interpersonally. Like it's so easy to reach for it or to it as a crutch. And I think I what I'm trying to really talk about is the shaming, because I feel like there's so much shaming going on, and I want to break down the shaming because things a lot of secrets exist in shaming. A lot of people are not able to be who they are because of shame, and I feel like the more we talk about it, the more we're able to break down the shadows or break down the power that shame has on a lot of us and say, hey, like we are together in this. And I think a lot of times there's a lack of community and a lack of support because I, for one, I thought the way to help my friends was by saying, hey, look at all the terrible side effects that are happening and because of the product, and that's not useful. Like we live in a time where it's full of information. Yes, for some people like that would be very useful to know because there's not a lot of information yet, which is also quite scary about things like elf bars because we don't know. One thing that I try to tell people when it comes to elf bars, please do not try to relight it. Like if it's dead, it's dead. Please. Like it's hard to to like go without it, but please like don't try to reignite it because you could be inhaling plastic and that's just really bad for your lungs. That's the one asterisk that I try to provide because that's just like harmful. that's harm that can be prevented while using it. And I want to provide just like an open space, and I don't know, but I was inspired to just talk about it because I don't think there are enough people just talking about it. And I, as a person that does not use elf bars, and I've seen the rise in them, like I see how hard it is, and like how painful like it is for a lot of people too, because like I'm sure like a lot of people are like, I want to stop, like I want to not be able to do that. Or you're still on the journey where you're like, I'm not ready yet. But it's so hard because it's so reinforced, it's so easy to get, it's so what is it called, it's so available. And there is also a lot of content around it, and there's a lot of content promoting it inadvertently. And I just wish there was more space to talk about all these feelings that people are going through, all these feelings that people are like, hey, this, like, you know, because these things exist because people feel like they have no other outlet, like there's nowhere else to go. And I think that's kind of sad in a world where we fully have access to so much stuff, so much information, that there's nowhere to go, there's no one to reach out to, there's like nothing to help other than the thing that is easy to get your hands on. And I just wish there was more. Like I just wish that my generation was like believed more when we asked for help, believed more when it's like, this is hard, this is a difficult thing, because people underestimate how hard it is. Because no one, in like an ideal world, no one wants to be taking anything, you know, like we all wish that we were able to continue and just like function, you know, but it's not like that for everybody. It's hard, especially, and it's getting harder because it's getting lonelier and lonelier, and there are less people to reach out to, and there's really a lot of shame surrounding these topics. So I wanted to make this, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know what the main message is, but the main message is you're not alone, and this was created to make that reaction and connection in your brain. Like many of the things that are made today, like all the things that we put in our bodies nowadays, are created to like make a reaction in our body so that we buy more and more and more. And so yeah, there's shaming yourself through it is not the solution. There is, I hope, I hope that there are places available and there are things. And I've seen a lot of people posting about trying to reduce their habits, and like that's a really big step, and I'm really excited about that. But this is just to say that it's okay. Like the world is so big, so much is happening, both globally and interpersonally, and shaming yourself is not the solution. Like we are all facing something, and the more we talk about it, the less hold it has on us. So